So you want me to pay you $30 million to play 30 games? Hell no.
Right.
No. 80 games is fine because I did it. Jerry West did it. Kareem did it. Magic did it. Bird did it. Bernard King, like all the great legends before us did it.
You play basketball 2.5 hours a day, 3 hours a day, right? That's your job. That's what you get paid to do as an NBA player. What are you doing the other 21 hours? I mean, to me, that's when you should be preparing for your next.
The NBA world was shaken when Shaquille O'Neal dropped a statement that sparked serious debate about the modern culture of basketball. His comments sent shockwaves through the league, with stars like LeBron James and Kevin Durant finding themselves caught in the middle of the conversation. What made the moment even more intense was the timing. While Shaq was criticizing modern players for missing too many games and avoiding competition, LeBron and Durant were appearing on a podcast where discussions about NBA legends quickly grabbed attention. To many fans, it felt like a clash between two generations of basketball, one built on toughness and non-stop competition, and the other focused on long-term health and career management. The debate began with a simple but controversial topic: load management, the strategy of skipping games to preserve a player's body over a long season. Shaq didn't hold back. He questioned why players earning massive salaries should sit out so many games, making it clear that, in his view, superstars are expected to compete whenever possible. His words reflected years of frustration with what some former players see as a softer era of basketball. Shaq then pointed toward the legends who defined toughness in the NBA. He praised Jerry West for competing through injuries that might sideline many players today. He highlighted Kareem Abdul-Jabbar for surviving demanding seasons without the advanced recovery methods modern athletes now have access to. He also mentioned rivals like Magic Johnson and Larry Bird, players who battled relentlessly night after night while earning far less money than today's NBA stars. For Shaq, the message was clear. Greatness is built on showing up, competing, and embracing the grind no matter the circumstances.
One time he played for Chicago, he said, if you expect to play a long time in this league, you better quit mopping up the floor. And I thought, well, he's crazy because that's what basketball is all about.
Bird takes it away from Wilkins, goes to the floor and gets it. Gets it up ahead.
We come to practice, he's on one leg. Like he was hurt the second year, he was on one leg the whole year and played 82 games. Wow. And so he practiced every day and he played every game on one leg. And so you're like, man, MJ, why don't you just sit up? How can I be the leader of the team and sit out and y'all going through all the credit? I gotta be there.
I twist my ankle and I had a teammate, David Greenwood. He says, you twist your ankle, young fella, come over and sit with me. This is, you need to. I said, no, man, I'm trying to make a name for myself. There's no way I can sit. I need to get out there and show what I'm capable of. I want to play. I want to win. I want to make an impact.
It might not be in the team's best interest, in your best interest, to play all 82. Is that something you thought about at all since you made the goal?
Maybe that's a goal, but yeah, we'll see.
I'm available to go and be in.
Shaquille O'Neal made his stance impossible to misunderstand. When the conversation turned to whether the NBA season has too many games, he didn't hesitate to push back against the idea. In Shaq's eyes, if the legends from previous generations managed to survive the same demanding schedule, then today's stars should be able to handle it too. His message was direct: stop complaining about playing basketball while earning life-changing money. To him, the struggles of the past generation make today's complaints difficult to justify. Shaq pointed to the harsh reality that old-school NBA players dealt with throughout their careers. Back then, players battled through exhausting travel schedules, uncomfortable flights, limited recovery options, and medical treatment that was nowhere near as advanced as what modern athletes receive today. On top of that, their salaries were only a fraction of the massive contracts players sign now. Despite all those challenges, legends still stepped on the court night after night without excuses, without distractions, and without turning every setback into a major controversy. For Shaq, toughness meant showing up, competing, and embracing the pressure regardless of the circumstances.
You play basketball 2.5 hours a day, 3 hours a day, right? That's your job. That's what you get paid to do as an NBA player. What are you doing the other 21 hours? I mean, to me, that's when you should be preparing for your next day of work.
The response from modern players came quickly. Draymond Green stepped in to defend the idea of resting players, arguing that sitting out games can be a smart long-term strategy for protecting careers and staying healthy throughout the season. Meanwhile, athlete reacted more casually, brushing off the criticism and suggesting that basketball has simply changed from the older era. Still, the debate sparked strong reactions among fans. Many people began comparing today's NBA mindset with the mentality of past generations, where playing through discomfort was often seen as part of the job. Critics argued that some modern stars appear too quick to miss games over minor injuries, especially while earning enormous contracts and playing in a league built on fan support. From that perspective, fans paying significant money for tickets expect to see superstar players on the court, not watching from the sidelines. Shaq's criticism touched a nerve because, to many observers, it highlighted a growing disconnect between player management and fan expectations in today's NBA.
This rest stuff just drives me crazy. You're playing basketball for a living, okay? I understand if you're working in a coal mine that you may need a rest day after it. You're playing.
Even Nikola Jokic found himself pulled into the growing debate. During discussions about mandatory game requirements, his comments added fuel to an already heated conversation. To critics of load management, statements like these reflect what former players, such as Shaquille O'Neal, have been questioning for years. Whether some modern stars are becoming too comfortable with missing games when they feel it is necessary. For many fans, this debate goes beyond basketball strategy. It raises questions about responsibility, competition, and what superstar players owe to the people who buy tickets and tune in to watch. Critics argue that when athletes earn massive contracts and represent the face of the league, showing up consistently matters just as much as performance. On the other hand, modern players often defend rest and recovery as necessary tools for extending careers and avoiding serious injuries. The clash between those two perspectives is exactly why this conversation continues to divide the NBA world.
Mandatory games, he shrugged and said,
I mean, definitely forcing players to play. We saw what happened with the drill. But it's something that probably league wants to. I don't know.
To really play hard, does that hurt you physically?
No, because when I play hard all the time. You know, there's no turn it on here, turn it off here. It's just 110% at all time.
To have a long career, that's the goal. To be in the league for 20 years. That's the goal.
You know, it's all about winning championships and winning.
And it's just basketball. At the end of the day.
Nikola Jokic's comments became another major talking point in the growing NBA debate. To critics of modern basketball culture, his relaxed attitude toward mandatory game requirements seemed to reflect exactly what Shaquille O'Neal has been criticizing for years. The idea that playing consistently sometimes feels optional for today's stars. In a league where player salaries continue to rise dramatically, many fans believe superstar athletes carry a responsibility to show up whenever they are healthy and available. For supporters of the older generation's mindset, missing games too often creates frustration, especially for fans spending hard-earned money, hoping to watch their favorite players compete live at the same time. The conversation became even louder when LeBron James appeared on his podcast alongside Kevin Durant and Steve Nash, where discussions about motivation, longevity, and basketball culture quickly caught attention. Some fans interpreted parts of the discussion as subtle comparisons between LeBron and Michael Jordan, especially when the topic shifted toward dedication and staying motivated after years of success. That only intensified the long-running generational argument surrounding how players from different eras approach the game. For many older NBA fans, legends like Michael Jordan represented a mentality where basketball was treated as everything: competition, obsession, and legacy all wrapped into one. Meanwhile, some critics believe parts of the modern era place greater emphasis on balance, longevity, and personal well-being. Shaq's comments resonated because they tapped into that deeper divide, turning a conversation about rest days into a much bigger debate about commitment, mindset, and what greatness in basketball truly means.
Nerd asks, why is the triangle offense less utilized in today's game?
To try to run the triangle offense right now, it'd be very challenging, just because how the game is played and also how defense is covering.
10 to shoot. Jake going right to the rack. No defensive communication.
You play basketball 2.5 hours a day, 3 hours a day, right? That's your job. That's what you get paid to do as an NBA player. What are you doing the other 21 hours? I mean, to me, that's when you should be preparing for your next day at work.
Why is ring culture so much more prevalent in the NBA than in other sports?
It's funny. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know why it's discussed so much in our sport and why it's the A-all, B-all of everything.
Like you mentioned a little bit about today's game, because we had Club on here and he talked about load management. He said, I don't know what the hell that is. Where is it going? And that's number one. And number two, how do we get it back?
Even for me, I love the NBA game, but then I turn on to a game, right? And then the stars are not playing because of load management. It's hurting the...
LeBron James didn't stop at discussing today's game. The conversation quickly shifted toward comparisons with Michael Jordan and the basketball systems that defined previous eras. LeBron argued that certain styles, including the famous triangle offense often associated with Jordan's championship years, might not function the same way in today's faster and more spacing-focused NBA. His point reflected the belief held by many modern players that today's league demands different skills, strategies, and adjustments compared to earlier generations. However, those comments immediately sparked backlash from fans and former players who viewed them differently. Critics argued that comparing eras often turns into an attempt to reshape history rather than appreciate greatness in different contexts. For supporters of Jordan, the argument is simple. Dominance, championships, and performances on the biggest stage remain the ultimate standard. Meanwhile, supporters of LeBron often point toward longevity, consistency, and elite performance across multiple decades as a different kind of greatness. That disagreement sits at the center of the GOAT debate. Some fans believe greatness should be measured by peak dominance and perfect championship success, while others value career length, versatility, and sustained excellence over time. As a result, every comment involving LeBron and Jordan quickly turns into a much bigger argument about what truly defines basketball greatness.
I believe that an NBA player could make $1 million. And now these guys are so lucky and blessed, and they can't play basketball 3 or 4 days a week. And I know they hide behind all the analytical bullshit from their agents and people like that. What they're really trying to do is extend their career. The way the money's been and going, depending on who you are, you're going to be able to make another $50, $70, $100 million and probably more going forward if you can extend your career.
Larry Bird once shared a story that perfectly captures the difference between generations of basketball players. He recalled advice from Artis Gilmore, who told him that if he wanted a longer career, he should stop diving for every loose ball. But Bird couldn't imagine approaching the game that way. For him, basketball was about effort, sacrifice, and fighting for every possession no matter the cost. Hustle wasn't optional. It was the identity of a competitor. That mindset is often brought up in today's conversations comparing eras. Players like Bird and Michael Jordan are remembered for pushing themselves to the limit, prioritizing competition and championships above everything else. Many fans from older generations see that approach as the standard of greatness, giving everything to the game even if it came at a physical cost later in life. Their careers were built on intensity, pressure, and an obsession with winning. Meanwhile, modern superstars like LeBron James and Kevin Durant often approach longevity differently, focusing on preserving their bodies to compete at an elite level for as many years as possible. Supporters of today's players argue that sports science, longer seasons, and the speed of the modern game make recovery and load management more important than ever. Critics, however, see it as a major shift in mentality compared to earlier eras. The comparison becomes even stronger when fans discuss commitment to playing every game. Michael Jordan was widely known for treating the NBA as both a responsibility and a privilege, often emphasizing the importance of performing for fans who paid to watch him compete. That mentality, showing up every night regardless of circumstances, is one reason why Jordan continues to be held up by many as the standard for competitive greatness. At the same time, LeBron supporters argue that sustaining elite basketball across 2 decades is its own form of greatness, keeping the debate between generations as intense as ever.